Hi, my name is Hayden, based in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm currently undertaking a Bachelor of Global Logistics and Maritime Management. My presentation today will last for approximately 10 minutes. If English is not your first language and find it hard to understand me, please feel free to enable subtitles or closed captions by clicking on the button below. For those who are visually impaired, I'm pale-skinned male with light brown hair. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So, the purpose of this session is not only to describe the cyber threat landscape, but to also translate that threat intelligence from the annual cyber threat report of 2024-2025 into actions that improve self-awareness, decision-making, and resilience. In other words, this is about helping organizations move from awareness of cyber risk to better cyber behavior and stronger defensive practice. There's full versions of the report along with very helpful fact sheets available at cyber.gov.au. My objectives are to facilitate a discussion regarding the Australian Cybersecurity Centre Annual Cyber Threat Report of 2024-25, identifying the threat landscape, the most significant threats, show which controls and behaviours reduce the risk, and demonstrate a realistic training example that changes staff behaviour for that organisation. The report shows that Australia's cyber threat landscape remains highly active and increasingly demanding for organisations. In the financial year of 2024 and 25, the ACSC received more than 42,500 hotline calls. I responded to over 1,200 cybersecurity incidents and notified organisations more than 1,700 times about potentially malicious activity. These figures matter because they show that cyber incidents are not isolated technical events, but they are persistent business risks that affect operational continuity, financial performance, reputation, and confidence in digital systems. So the report identifies two main groups targeting Australian organisations, that is state-sponsored cyber actors and cyber criminals. State-sponsored actors pursue espionage, strategic advantage, and disruption, where cyber criminals are generally motivated by financial crime through ransomware, fraud, extortion, and theft of credentials or data. Although their motives differ, their methods quite often overlap. Both these actors exploit weak credentials, vulnerable systems, public-facing applications, and human behavior to gain access and maintain persistence in target environments. The report repeatedly mentions supply chains and critical infrastructure as viable targets. So we've got some, you can see the flags up there of China and Russian Federation. So in 2026, in March, federal politicians Zali Steggall and three of her staff members had their WhatsApp accounts breached in a sophisticated phishing scheme orchestrated by a Russian state. And that Chinese flag there, it's actually been directly quoted in the Australian Signals Directorate documentation and by our international allies that they have targeted major global telecommunications providers too. So, yeah, the threat is real, that's for sure. One of the strongest findings in the report is that phishing and credential compromise remain among the most significant threats to organisations. Phishing was recorded as an initial access technique in 38% of the incidents reported during the 2024-25 financial year, making it one of the most common ways that attackers would gain a foothold. Ransomware also remained the most disruptive cybercrime threat, with 138 ransomware incidents responded to during the reporting period. At the same time, the Australian Cybersecurity Centre responded to more than 200 DOS and double DOS incidents. So DOS, denial of service, and double DOS is distributed denial of service. Malicious cyber attacks that aim to make a server, website, or network resource unavailable to legitimate users. They achieve this by overwhelming the target system with an influx of traffic or false information, causing it to crash or to slow to a halt. There's also demonstrating that both data-focused attacks and service disruptions campaigns, they are on the increase. These threats succeed because the attackers exploit both technical and behavioral weaknesses. The report highlights vulnerable edge devices, legacy IT, poor event logging, insecure credential practices, and third-party risk as recurring issues that make compromise more likely. This means cybersecurity is not only a technical issue for IT teams, and staff behaviors such as clicking phishing links, reusing passwords, failing to verify requests, or delaying incident reporting can directly contribute to a successful compromise. The report places strong emphasis on phishing and information stealer malware. Information stealers are designed to infect a device, collect data such as usernames, passwords, cookies, local files, and financial details, and then send that information directly to cybercriminals. This becomes especially serious when corporate credentials are stolen and then used to access business systems. The report notes that attackers can use or sell stolen credentials to enable business email compromise, ransomware, extortion, and intellectual property theft, meaning a seemingly small incident at the user level can escalate into a major organizational breach. Ransomware remains one of the most serious cyber threats to organisational resilience. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre responded to 138 ransomware incidents in 24-25 financial year, and that report describes ransomware as high impact threat capable of crippling an organisation's ability to function. A critical point is that ransomware is no longer just about encrypting data. Many ransomware actors now steal data before encryption and then threaten to publish it, creating what is often called double extortion, which increases legal, financial, and operational and also reputational harm for the victims. So, an example of that would be in early May 2026, Canvas, the widely used learning management system operated by um, various institutes across the world, was targeted by a major global cybersecurity incident. The hacking group Shiny Hunter claimed responsibility, threatening to leak stolen user data. And Melbourne University was identified as one of those victims. So, as students, we can be vulnerable to that as well. The report supports a layered and practical approach to improving cybersecurity. A central recommendation in the report is the use of the Essential 8, which cyber.gov.au lists as patch applications, patch operating systems, multi-factor authentication, restrict administrative privileges, application control, restrict Microsoft Office macros, user application hardening, and regular backups. This alongside with strong cyber hygiene measures such as using, as we've just mentioned, multi-factor authentication, applying application control, and maintaining all those secure backups. In addition to the Australian Cybersecurity Centre report, it also identifies 4 major priorities for organisations. So it's implement best practice logging, replace legacy IT, keep everything up to date, manage third-party risks effectively, and prepare for post-quantum cryptography. For organizations operating operational technology, the report also stresses that isolating that vital OT system and systems and having a clear plan to rebuild it once a disruption occurs. SIEM acts, so SIEM, so that acts as the eyes and brain by collecting and analyzing logs to detect threats, while SOAR acts as the muscle by automating incident response, reducing the manual workload and speeding up the response. Based on the report, recommendations for an organization would be to focus both on people and systems. First, we implement phishing-resistant multi-factor authentication, such as passkeys where supported, because compromised credentials continue to be a major cause of serious incidents. Secondly, strengthening patching, backups, credential management, and monitoring. With third being to improve the incident response process so staff know how to report suspicious activity quickly. Fourthly, incorporate cyber risk into procurement and supply governance so third-party services do not become overlooked as an attack pathway. A strong example for recommended training in a phishing simulation would be based off a Microsoft 365 password reset message. I personally have had these at work and also my personal email. So staff will be asked to identify suspicious elements such as unusual sender addresses, urgent wording, unexpected login prompts, or requests to re-enter credentials. So that training objective is to reinforce clear behavioral response. So once again, it's that human factor, which that targets. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre advises that if a person suspects a social engineering attempt, they should engage with it. They should not engage with it. Sorry, should not. Should not delete or forward it, and should report it immediately to their organisation's cybersecurity or IT support team. So their communication can be preserved and investigated for a response. That response would be across the organisation. So that's good intelligence. So then we can use that to prevent other things slipping through I suppose laziness or human actions. So moving on to an example of one of these Office 365 messages, you can see up the top there where it's coming from. Looks a bit weird. There's that urgent messaging inside it, the email there that we can see. So that's the invitation basically, and then the email capture page requests your email address once again. So that's a bit weird. And then it's going to ask you for your password to link up. So stolen usernames and passwords enable mailbox hijack, and internal phishing and data exfiltration. And then it becomes a numbers game. The payment page collects credit card numbers, expiries, CCVs, and a phone number. So this is payment fraud, collected card data that can be used immediately or sold on, like discussed earlier. And this is the event horizon. There's no turning back from here. This is an SMS code page which prompts for a one-time code and then redirects to this actually quite often may redirect to office.com once submitted to make it appear more legitimate. So this is a multi-factor authentication bypass. The SMS code prompt allows the attackers to validate transactions or create persistent access. At the end of this sequence, the person engaging the console or the user interface may feel the whole process is legitimate, but yeah, this is the mastermind. This is where it all happens. So as you can see, it can happen to anyone, and they're very, very smart. So this report is very easy to read, very easy to digest, and I recommend using the fact sheet to get up to speed. Thank you for your time. I hope you can go away now with some avenues of research into your personal or organizational cybersecurity awareness. Thank you.